Hello and welcome to Union Insider, presented by Independence Blue Cross with club legend Sebastien Le Toux and Sheanon Williams. I'm Dave Leno. Yes, we're running the three-man weave tonight. And Union fans, your long wait through the international break is nearly over as the boys in blue return to action tomorrow night north of the border against the Vancouver Whitecaps. But first, we have to rewind back to that colossal road win at Cincy that clinched the team a playoff spot. Guys, it's great to be back in the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, especially just 1 year off. But, having, like you say, a great performance in Cincinnati, who brings the team into the playoff. Now we are 5 points ahead of the second place. We have, of course, a long way before the MLS Cup and hopefully the Supporter Shield. But right now, we are feeling good about our Union.
At the beginning of the year, I know that we weren't definitely going to be in the playoffs, but looking at all the changes they've made and how well they've been able to put together those changes and add new pieces to this puzzle, I think they've done a really great job to not only get into the playoffs, but also get a really good seed in the playoffs, hopefully, with the last couple games to go.
No doubt, really happy for everybody involved. That was just a massive result considering the last few games, especially points dropped in the Toronto game and also at the Red Bulls. TQL Stadium has been a house of horrors for the Union in recent seasons. After all, they hadn't won a game in that building all the way back to October of 2021. Kind of hard to believe, but a dominant defensive performance in a special moment from none other than Bruno Damiani had the boys in blue flying back to Philly with 3 points and a playoff spot.
In a showdown of the top two teams in the Eastern Conference of Major League Soccer right now. There are no shortage of history between these two clubs.
And no matter what, we are winning this game tonight. We are taking with us 3 points on the field tonight.
There we go.
Delicious looking ball in. It required a fabulous save from Andrew Rick. What a moment. And what a save.
Iloski spinning around with the left foot, pops in there. Damiani with the header, and Damiani puts it in for the Union, gives the Union the lead here at FC Cincinnati.
Victory in the backyard of FC Cincinnati and sustained superiority at the top of the East.
We wish we were all jumping in that locker room with the team. So with 5 regular season games remaining, the Union retain their lead in the Supporter Shield race, leading San Diego by 1 point. San Diego, by the way, unbeaten the last 5, 4-0-1 during that stretch. Now, the Union's 5 remaining games, 3 are against teams currently in playoff spots, starting tomorrow against Vancouver, currently in 3rd in the Western Conference. When you look at the rest of the games left in the league, we have 5 games left, beginning with this Vancouver game. Seba, first starting with you, 2 are at home. How do you approach now this Vancouver game? And then also you have the Open Cup matchup on Tuesday at Nashville as well.
I mean, it's a bit tricky just because, like you say, of the Open Cup game being on Tuesday. It's not a lot of rest for the guys. They're going to flew directly from Vancouver to Nashville. So not sure yet, I think, what type of starting 11, Brian Eckersley is going to use for that game. But like you see in the Stadium of the Shield, Vancouver is 1 point behind. It was kind of the case against Cincinnati, who was 2 points behind the Union before we play them. We get a win. Now it's 5 points. Could we maybe do the same and get a win in Vancouver to put ourselves 4 points ahead of Vancouver in the Shield race? Something will be great. I think it's possible, but we don't know, yet the way the team is going to play on the turf with the time difference. And I think in the back of the head, having the semifinal against Nashville on Tuesday.
No doubt we want to see definitely more cushion moving forward for the Union, especially when it comes to the Supporter Shield race, because you have San Diego, Vancouver, also others like Minnesota in the mix too. And Sheanon, how does that win galvanize this Union team, especially when McConaughey picked up that red card a little bit after the 60th minute, and Rick got his 6th clean sheet this year. He's been doing a great job backing up the injured Andre Blake.
Yeah, I think you nailed that when you talk about McConaughey getting a red card in a really important game, and his team not only getting through that game, but also picking up the slack. They're also going to be missing him for this next game, but it definitely brings the team together. They've done such a good job all year of sticking together. They've had very few times where they lose back-to-back games or they're in bad moments, so I expect them to not only pick up the slack for McConaughey, who's going to miss this Vancouver game, but also for some guys to come in and really lift the level and see if they can't take 3 points in Vancouver with their eyes on Tuesday in that semifinal against Nashville.
Defensively, this team has been very stout. It's very different than last year. Now the team only has allowed 26 goals. That's the least amount relinquished in MLS. And Seb, I'm looking down at my documentation here on Bruno Damiani. Speaking of a striker, like I have one to my left. Damiani now 5 goals, 1 assist, 19 starts, 23 games played. He snapped Seb a goalless in the last 7. How important is it to get Bruno going to the rest of the way and gearing up for the playoffs?
I mean, it's fantastic to have him, getting a goal, especially this very important goal against his team, giving the win, and having him, I think with all the little things he has been doing for this team, who has been very important. I think his work rate has been amazing. The fact that he can hold the ball and win a lot of fouls when you play away from home. I remember against Cincinnati, he got like 2, 3, 4 fouls into the midfield, able to give some time for the defense to just got up. He does a lot of little things that people don't see, but it's very important for the team. And I think his goal, you can see how much the desire he had, to pass in front of the defender, and his smashing header who got enough, power to get a net. It's kind of this type of feeling you want from your forward, and the expectation of you have from them to be the first winning the ball, to be the first, putting the ball in net, and he has it right now. And you can see he's really confident. Hopefully this goal even put even more into him to finish the season strong and getting into the playoff.
I love that tenacity that he had inside on the defender there, spinning around. Also, that was a beautiful, nifty cross from Iloski, who, by the way, has a goal and assist in back-to-back games as a new Union acquisition. Sheanon, for the team defensively here, I mentioned Rick now with 6 shutouts, but that red card to Makanya, what adjustments do you think the team will make for Vancouver? And who fills in as a center back next to Glesnes, you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Nate Harriel. He's done a good job so far this season, filling in at times for Makanya as well as Glesnes. I think he's comfortable in that position, and I don't see much changing. I still think that they can put together a strong defensive performance in Vancouver, being on the road. I expect to see more of the same, and with Rick being in goal as well, he's now added some familiarity with that back line, and I think he's ready to step up in a big moment.
We're back in a flash, and as we head to break, here's this week's Union Trivia question presented by United Concordia. What is the Union's single season record for goals scored? The answer is later in our show. Union Insider is back right after this. Back with some international flavor. During the recent break, the Union had 12 players called up across all different age groups between the U.S. men's national and youth setups. That number is the most amongst all Major League Soccer clubs this cycle. Congrats to everyone at the club on this stellar achievement. Welcome back, guys. Let's go through the big picture here for a moment and talk tactically of what Bradley Carnell and the new staff has installed this go-around that's aided to the team's success, being in first place in the East, also in the Shield as well. Seba, what stood out maybe from last year, what Bradley has implemented to now as we're closing it at the end of the season?
I think there's 2 things. I think it's a counter press first, as we watch the game of the Union, when they play at home, especially losing the ball, trying to win it back, right away, being, compact as a team. It's always, playing high, try to mark, the forward, even if, we have the ball and the ball is on the other side of the game. It's something that the Bragana is doing very well with his team. And what marked me tactically as well, we can see, for example, against Cincinnati, when they chose the moment about where they decide to go press. It can be a little bit high, it can be in the midfield, it can be in a low block, and you can see the different type of shape and where the team start their press. But when they go, everybody go together and there's not a lot of space between the line, and they're able to win the ball quickly and then move forward. So it's something that they are doing a very good job. You can see them really choosing their movement during the game when they decide to do it. And when they play at 10, I think I really enjoy as well against Cincinnati. It was almost like a back 4 and then 3 midfielders, and we had kind of Iloski and Ua in front. Just with 3 midfielders, they were able to do a great job not letting Cincinnati getting through the line. So credit to Bradley Carnell, the way they work with the coaching staff during the training, because you can see everybody know what they need to do at their position, and it's very hard to break them down.
You make a great point about the press, because sometimes people often think, and you guys know this best, that sometimes the press is going at a goal kick or the first pass out of the back, but sometimes Union coaches will tell their players, make the defenders, the center backs, play east to west, right? Or sometimes they pick up, like Seba just alluded to, picking up maybe at the top of the circle, the ball goes to the channels, then you go. Great stuff, Seba. Sheanon, I spoke a moment ago about the defensive progress of this team from last year to this year. They've only allowed a league-low 26 goals. Blake's been more healthy this year, which is great. Hopefully we'll get him back for the remaining stretch. Rick with his 6 shutouts as well. What has stood out to you defensively about this team? Nate Harriel's played all 4 positions on the back line too.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job being consistent with who they play at outside back as well as center back. Makanya has also come in and done a really good job to nail and secure that spot as his own. I think at the beginning of the season, we were thinking more it was going to be Glavinovic and Glesnes. It has changed into Makanya and Glesnes for the majority of this season, and they've done a really good job. And then also the two in front of them, and Lukic and Danley, have done such a good job just being that front screen to the back line, making sure that the back line doesn't have as much work because they're doing a lot of the running and the dirty work in front of them. Those two, for me, are two of the best pairs in MLS this season.
Agreed. The number sixes have been so prolific. Also, what a bounce back year for Glesnes as well, and making the All-Star team and also an extension. Milan Iloski is still just weeks into his tenure as a member of the Union, but he's already managed to score goals in multiple competitions. His impact on the field is already being felt. But as you're about to find out, he's making sure the same impact is being felt off the field as well.
Yeah, listen, I think it creates more layers of depth to an already strong striking squad that we have.
Right on time for Milan Iloski.
I think he's really good in transition, connecting final plays, and I think he's also good at finishing on final plays.
Milan Iloski finds the back of the net.
He's shown that in his 14 games in San Diego, so we have a few plans for him, we have a few ideas for him. He's very versatile. For him, it's like, baptism of fire, and that's not just the games, it's been training as well. It's just showing how we go about things with the intensity and the collective identity, how we do our business, and he's excited about being part of this group.
Period?
Yeah. Yes.
I gotta kick through this thing. My name's Milan Iloski. I'm number 32, and I play as a striker. I'm American, of course, so I know about Philadelphia sports. The city seems like it has a lot of history. For me, I love history, and I'm excited to look around a bit more. But first impressions have been great, and I'm so excited to be here.
Hi, I'm Sean. Nice to meet you.
I went to UCLA, so I played there for a couple of years, and then I turned pro early, signing for Real Salt Lake, and then playing USL just to play as much as possible. And from there, I made a move over to play in Denmark for FC Nordsjælland. And recently I was on loan at San Diego here in MLS, and now I'm here at the Union.
Hey, Milan, you have to wear the snacks. I'm not kidding.
Whatever they need, no problem. Actually, put that on. No problem. I'll wear it.
I mean, the goals speak for himself, and he's a very quick, aggressive striker type. We do not have exactly that type of striker in our roster. And well, when we got the opportunity, we all thought, okay, we're gonna need to strike here. We play in a two-striker system, and that makes it a little bit more appealing for him as well.
Once I, found out Philly was an option, it was a pretty easy decision for me to make. Everyone knows the club is one of the best clubs in the league every year, so I can definitely feel the culture here, and I've been able to watch a couple of games now, and I can definitely see the team has a clear style, and I love to win, so for me, to come in and be a part of a winning team is amazing, and I just hope I can add to that. Around the goal is where I thrive, and I want to help the team. I want to win. I'll score goals and create chances for my teammates, but ultimately I feel like I need to come in and earn my place, and I think that starts with working really hard and proving to the players in the locker room and the staff that they can trust me.
It is in a way now the balance to prepare for playoffs. So, I mean, it's always more difficult to stay up top instead of getting there. We all know that and acknowledge that. But yeah, I think he will help pretty immediately as he knows the league. He has been over here.
Of course, we want to win MLS Cup. I think that's a goal from everyone here in the building, and something that I hope to help the team achieve. I'll do everything to fight for the team, and I hope they can see that every time I'm lucky enough to step on the field. So, I'm of course very thankful to them.
And Milan Iloski, new player for the Union, just announced on Tuesday about to come on into this game.
Son just a few days ago from Danish side Nordsjælland, but no stranger to MLS fans is he. 10 goals in 471 minutes earlier this year.
And now here is the Union debut of Milan Iloski, coming on to make some noise up top for the Union here at home.
I'm excited to feel the fans and get to know a lot of them. I'm looking forward to hopefully giving them a lot of fun memories.
The assist from Nealis, exquisite too. Bariba feeding it along, open goal here for Milan Iloski. Welcome to Philadelphia, Milan Iloski, level again.
Terrific addition to the team. Let's take a quick break. Up next, we'll dive back into tomorrow's matchup and get Seba and Sheanon's keys to a Union victory over Vancouver. Union Insider returns after this. We're back with this week's Union Update presented by Torque. It was quite a scene in the locker room following the team's big win over Cincinnati. The victory clinched a playoff spot for the Union for the 7th time in 8 seasons. And now the focus fully moves to securing the Supporters' Shield and with it, home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Welcome back. We're running the 3-man weave tonight with Seba and Sheanon. I'm Dave. It's now time for our keys to the match, as always presented by Subaru. Seba, what do you have?
Easy. We just talked about Iloski. I want him to score 4 goals again, like in Vancouver. No, I'm joking. It's going to be hard, but hopefully he can score there. Now, my keys, it's, since the away game again for the Union, I think it's going to be a very good defensive keys, which is to play hard to play through their defensive block. I think against Cincinnati, they did a very good job frustrating the Cincinnati team, especially Evander when he had the ball, not able, to create anything. And then can we be able to, of course, go in counter-attack and try to get some goals? But the defensive block and the discipline of the Union to put into especially the 2 line of 4 to not get easy to play through. Vancouver has a lot of talented players who can find their forward. We need to stay compact together and then be able to counter-attack this Vancouver team.
Sheanon, it's a Vancouver team that comes in 14-6-7, 49 points, 3rd in the West. So they're still jockeying for position or 1 or 2 in the other conference. What's your key?
My key for this game is going to be for this Union team to be good on set pieces. We know that there'll be some changes to the lineup. We know Seba talked about them playing on turf and the travel. Sometimes that leads to a lack of rhythm in a game, and they've been so good on set pieces all year. Can they use that to their advantage once again to try and get them a lead or back in the game, whatever the moment might be? Set pieces are going to be key for them to stay in the game or get ahead in the game.
So for those that didn't see Vancouver a lot this season, they got off to such a prolific start. They were 10-1-5 through the first 16 games. Since then, 5 losses in the last 11. They're coming off a pretty nice victory, a comeback 3-2 win. Thomas Muller scored in the 114th minute on a PK. Seba, Sheanon, international football very, very well. Muller, the legend from Bayern Munich and also for Germany. What does he mean to Vancouver in that big acquisition?
I mean, it's definitely a big name for their team to come to Vancouver, but it's a bit of change as well for them in the way they are playing, because he could play midfielder, he could play as a second striker, and the fact that, like you say, Vancouver being successful, they need to kind of find a way to play with him in their teams. They won, luckily, the last game at the last minute, like you said, but I think there is a chance for the Union to be able to get a result against this team. They are very good. They have a lot of players who play for international duty, this week, so they're all going to come back. Hopefully, they can be a little bit tired, but we know, how like Thomas Muller can be as a leader for this team. So, make sure we keep an eye on him because he can be a good threat for Vancouver. It's
a Vancouver team that possesses the ball about 52% of the time, according to FBref and MLS. That's 10th in the league, so I expect them to have the ball more than the Union to go. Maybe we'll see who impacts the game as a sub as well in the last 30 minutes. One final break to sneak in, and we'll wrap up this edition of Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross after this short timeout. Back with the answer to this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Earlier, we asked you, what is the Union's single-season record for goals scored? The answer, 72 goals, which came in the 2022 regular season. Remember, that was the career years for Carranza, Ua, and Gazdag, who all had fabulous seasons en route to MLS Cup. Final segment here on Union Insider with Sebastien Le Toux and Sheanon Williams. I'm Dave Leno, and it allows us to wrap up the show and get this week's final topic. Of course, we call it the final whistle, and that is your favorite city to visit as a player. Think back, guys, and what comes to mind?
I mean, for me, it has to be, I think, Seattle. I played there, for 3 years before I came to Philadelphia, and every time I had to go back, it was always nice to talk to the old friends and the first people I met in this country. So I will say Pacific Northwest could be one. Of course, Vancouver was a good one too, but I didn't spend as much time. But I would say, yeah, Seattle for me.
What's your favorite trip, Sheanon?
Well, we don't do a whole lot on these road trips. One of my favorite trips is definitely Portland. If you're a huge sneakerhead like I am, that's definitely one of the favorite trips. Make sure you come back with a huge bundle of stuff.
Yeah, little do people know watching that Shane and Seba have me on this fitness routine when we're on the road. So got to hook me up with a pair of shoes.
We'll get you a good pair.
Well, guys, great stuff. That will wrap things up on this week's Union Insider. For Sebastien Le Toux and Sheanon Williams, I'm Dave Leno. Enjoy the game against Vancouver and go Union in the Open Cup semifinal at Nashville as well. And our crew, we'll see you next time.